PESO model very recently. But having said that, I must say that the PESO model itself is rather new, having been propounded only in 2014. PESO model is a fantastic tool for marketers and communicators to understand the communication and media landscape, understand the features of various media available at hand, and make an informed decision as you are crafting your marketing or communication plan. At the end of this webinar, I'm hoping that you and I will understand the media a little better and be able to use it in a professional and personal life. While Dr. Ajita has given a good introduction, I'll quickly talk a few things about myself and my experience. I started my career as a trainee chef after having finished hotel management from Institute of Hotel Management, Chennai. I started off my life, as I said, as a trainee chef in a flight kitchen at Ambassador Pallava, Chennai. Soon enough, I realized that the hotel industry was not for me. I was not cut out for it. So I decided to pursue MBA and I chose ITM Chennai. I had two of the best years in my life. I consider to be those in ITM. I had great professors. I had great friends who are now friends for life. In fact, some of my friends even managed to find life partners for themselves. Soon after finishing MBA, I joined the public relations industry. I spent initial 7 years of my career in public relations, out of which the major 5 parts were in IT public relations sector. I worked for 2020 MSL, which is India's leading IT public relations firm. And as Dr. Ajita said, two of my campaigns won the Best Campaign of the Year award, including that of creating the first Wi-Fi enabled lake in the world. Of course, today Wi-Fi is there everywhere, but in 2003, it was a new concept. And as Dr. Ajita said, it got a lot of pan-India coverage and international coverage, and it made immense business impact for my client DAX networks. At the end of 7 years, I again became a little bored of the monotony in public relations, and I wanted to explore newer opportunities and newer challenges. And I was looking for opportunities in the marketing space. And that's how I joined Congruent Solutions, which is my current employer, but this was my first stint with Congruent Solutions between 2007 and 10. There I led the marketing services and sales support function for about 3 years. In 2010, I shifted back to the communication sector and I joined I performed corporate communications, internal communications, a little bit of marketing communications, and financial analyst relationships for corporates. Basically, 2 corporates: Club Mahindra, which is part of the Mahindra Group, and General Electric. At General Electric, I managed internal communications during a very critical merger period and created some campaigns which were very well appreciated by both the management and the employees. In 2013, I decided to take a sabbatical and I tried my hands at different things, but most importantly, I got an opportunity to be a house husband for a year. I was a professional dog walker and I got a lot of opportunity to travel in Europe, which I miss at this point of time. But in 2013, we came back to India and I joined back the public relations sector. And in 2019, when I got the opportunity to get back to marketing, I grabbed it with both the hands and I started my second stint at Congruent Solutions. As AVP Marketing at Congruent, I lead the global marketing initiatives and lead generation initiatives. Now, if I look back or you look back at the experience that I've had, you'll find that I have experience in the entire spectrum within the communication sector. However, if I'm asked which role I prefer the most, I would blindly say it's marketing. 2 reasons. One, the ability to contribute to the business goals more is higher in marketing. Second is that it offers great opportunity to experiment and work with multiple medias, and that's something that I love. A little bit about my employer. Congruent Solutions is a specialist technology solutions and outsourcing services provider. We are focused on the niche space of retirement plan industry, also known as the 401k or defined contribution space in the US. We have 3 offerings for the market. Core retirement core suite of solutions is our technology product. It's a modular record keeping platform. Outsource plan administration is our BPO KPO services, and retirement technology solutions is custom software development services. Now, many of you would have gone through the communication model, but for the benefit of those who have not gone, I think we should go through this because this is a basic fundamental or tenet for the PESO model. Now, as you would know, there are 4 key components in the communication model: the sender, the receiver, the medium, and the message. even if a company has segmented its customer base, it understands the personas, it has all the demographics, it has all the personas, it has a very compelling message. If the medium is, the choice of medium is wrong, the communication plan is bound to fail. And that is why medium is very important. And that's a basic tenet for the PESO model. And about 2 decades or 2.5 decades back, when I started my career, the marketing was rather easy. I'm not saying it was easy, but it was rather easy because the choices to the marketers were limited. The publications, the media, the tools were limited. There was advertising, which was very well known, and then there was the poorer cousin, public relations. But as I said, when I joined public relations, I did not even know what public relations was. Marketers could completely control the messaging that went out. The messaging that they would give would almost be the same that would appear to the consumers. The feedback from the consumer was possible. It was, I'm not saying that it was not there, but the feedback was not easy for consumers. And as I said, the content was definitely created by the marketer or the sender. The receiver did not have to, when I say receiver, in the case it's consumers, did not have too many options to create content and communicate. And then all the hell broke loose. What happened? Basically, the introduction of Web 2.0 and social media platforms, it allowed the democratization of media. It removed all the entry barriers for anyone to communicate. It empowered customers. Everyone became a communicator. Today, you, I, and anybody can create content easily. We can share the content easily. It could be content, our own content, or it could be content created by others that could be shared very easily. And most importantly, I said, the feedback became very instant. Today, the companies do not have to wait. You start a campaign, the very next second, you probably will start getting feedback for the campaign or about the company's initiative. The social media has wreaked havoc on the traditional media. Traditional media is completely losing ground. They're trying to adapt and try to succeed. These are very nascent days, and there are many initiatives. However, the truth is that they're losing grounds. The penetration of mobile phones has further damaged it. The way we consume media is completely different, and it is creating a lot of opportunities for marketers. But I would say that it's a marketer's dilemma because it's also creating so many plenty of it's become a problem of plenty. There are so many options, and today marketers have to completely understand what media they have and how to communicate effectively. And that's why the PESO model is very important for marketers and communicators to know. This is Ginny Dietrich. She was a public relations professional, and today she runs an integrated marketing communications firm. Way back in 2014, she wrote a book, Spin Sucks, and this book explores what are the things that were ailing the public relations sector. There are a lot of backlash against public relations sector because many of the big disasters were badly managed, the crisis communications were badly managed, and the book explores many of this, and she talks about how public relations can redeem itself. However, the most important for us is that in this book, it was the first time that she propounded the PESO model. The PESO model basically stands for the paid, earned, shared, and owned media. And we'll talk about it in the coming slides. When I think about the PESO model, I find that, I already knew paid, earned, and owned medium. However, the importance of this model is that she introduced the shared model, which is what talked about, which empowered everybody to become communicator. Now she introduced the shared model in it, and that's why the importance of the PESO model has grown. Now, this is the PESO model, the main 4 components: paid, earned, shared, and owned. In this book, she quite deeply explores each of the model individually, and also she explores the confluence of each, which we spoke about. There is a lot of plenty of options today. So she's exploring the confluence of earned and shared media, shared and owned media, owned and paid media, and so on. However, for today's session, to keep it to introduce, we will look at the four important components and not go into the confluence for today's session. So getting on to with the models, the paid is basically advertising. So basically what it means is that if a brand has the money and they said we have the budget. They go to a publication or a media and say, hey, I need some space to communicate. Here's the money, here's your rate cut, so I need this much of space, give me the space. They pay the money and they communicate. Now, the focus as far as advertising is concerned, it's largely on the traditional media, which is TV, radio, print, hoarding. Though, of course, today the new media also falls into the gambit, and we'll talk about it slightly differently when you go to the shared media, because there is a slight confusion as to whether that is paid or that is shared. However, for now, we'll say that it's all the advertising covers both traditional and new media. As far as the paid media is concerned, the results are always immediate. It can be expensive largely because advertising, you want to advertise in the best publication and reach out to as many people. The focus is on mass communication for mass reach. It is always expensive and it gives immediate results. If a brand wants immediate results, they want to make revenues, advertising is what they would choose. One of the key differentiators in India is that the media it's very fragmented in India, and thus it is also becomes that much more expensive. What I mean is fragmented is that India is divided based on linguistic reasons. So Tamil Nadu has a different set of publications. Kerala will have a different set of publications. Maharashtra will have a different set of publications. So advertisers have to think which is the best media for them to communicate in each region. There is no one single media that an advertiser could use and communicate to the entire India. So in India, it's a very difficult situation. And as far as the control or messaging is concerned, it's almost complete. Whatever the communicator wants to, the brand wants to communicate, there's a complete control, and that is what appears on the media. Moving on to public relations, or what I would call the earned media or the public relations, it is the same side of the coin as advertising. The only difference is that while in advertising, the brand is paying money to the media. Here, there is no money exchanged. Public relations also targets the same set of media. However, there is no money paid to the publication. So how does it work? Basically, public relations is earning the trust, influencing, and ensuring that there's a journalist who writes a story for you. So if you look at a publication, you would find that there is advertisement, then there is news. So think of advertising, you already know. Public relations is the news. How do publications get that news and that space for themselves? As far as the cost is concerned, public relations is not free. Just because I said that you don't have to pay money, there are expenses, because ultimately a brand will start working with a public relations agency, and there could be other exercises like event management. It is inexpensive when you compare it with advertising. Unlike advertising, there is no short-term results. It's about long-term. The brand equity is built over a long period of time. And as I said, the ability to get a bigger basket, the bigger media basket is higher in public relations vis-a-vis advertising. Let me explain it slightly. So if I was a brand, I wanted to communicate based on a budget, I would choose the top media because my budgets are limited. I'll choose a top media and I'll advertise. However, in public relations, if you use the tools intelligently, smartly, you can, for example, use a press release or a press conference. For the same communication, you probably can get a far bigger media basket than what advertising can get. So it can be better value for money, and the return on investment could be more. But however, the biggest differentiator for earned media is that it is far more credible, because I said there is a gatekeeper, there's a journalist, there's an editor, and because somebody is vouching for your communication, vouching for your company, it is considered to be far more credible than advertising. And that's the biggest differentiator as far as earned media is concerned. Coming to shared media, this is what I would call posts and promotion. And I spoke about the confusion between whether advertising in the new media is shared or is it advertising. Let's keep that confusion on, because not a big differentiator. However, the difference between the post and promotion is that post is almost is akin to public relations, whereas promotions is more like advertising, or I wouldn't say more, it is basically advertising. Shared media can be inexpensive or expensive based on which P you're choosing. If it is a post, then almost there is no cost for brands. They can create the pages, they can create the posts, and it can be posted without having to pay any money. Whereas promotions, which is digital advertising or digital marketing, can be very expensive on social media platforms. However, the difference between advertising and promotions in social media would be that the reach is much more sharper, because the shared medium, the social media platforms are collecting a lot of data about its users. They can use the demographics to target the users much better. Also, if you look at the revenue model, it's much more different. In advertising, in traditional medium, whether or not you get the returns, whether or not there is an action, call to action from consumers, you still end up paying for the space. Whereas in digital media, most of them is click-based costings. So unless until somebody clicks on it, you do not pay the medium. So that's the other differentiator between advertising and promotions. Just like I said, in advertising, the biggest differentiator is the credibility because of the vouching by editors or journalists. The biggest differentiator for shared medium is that it allows for engagement and community building, which is absent in the other two mediums, the traditional mediums, which is paid and earned. Also, in today's scenario, because the democratization of media, engagement community building has become the key factor for anybody's success. In fact, today, consumers have equal say on how a brand looks, or even how the brand performs. So that's the power of social media for us. In terms of flexibility to post content, shared media, the platforms offer amazing options for brands or for the consumers. And if you look at it, I would consider that shared platforms, shared media is almost like a marketplace. It is here where the brands and the consumers are interacting with each other on real time. So in my opinion, shared medium, social media platform is like a communicator's market. And finally, coming to the own medium, it started with Web 1.0 when internet started. It includes website, your newsletters, your mails, blogs, everything. It is very inexpensive. It's almost, you could say it's free because if you have a space to host, own medium is free for you. However, in other cases, when you're pushing the content, here you need a lot of pull. You need a lot of visitors to come and visit your site to know you. So that way it's slightly different from other medium. It is best for thought leadership because you could post long form content, and it is also like a catalog for your brands and services. However, the importance of own medium is that today almost all the buying decision starts with search. So the objective of all the website is to rank very heavily on search engine optimization. The focus is on search engine optimization. The objective is that you become Googleable and you come on top of the research. And if you do that, half of your battle is won. Of course, being your own platform, it offers great flexibility to post your content and you have complete control over your messages. So that's Peso model very quickly for you. I don't know if you have come across this saying or this line. The best place to hide a dead body is the second page of Google search, which basically means that if you're not on the first page of Google search, the chances are that nobody is going to know you. And that's why the own medium is important. It's a primary tool. However, the earned medium, public relations, and shared medium, which is the social media platform, can play an important role in increasing your searchability. And that's why integrated marketing communications is so important. But always remember that for any marketer, when you get into the field, the objective is that you appear on the front page of Google search. A quick recap of whatever we've gone through it based on the parameters. A disclaimer here. This is largely based on my opinion. This is my opinion. It is not based on any study or research done. This is based on the experience I've had. And also my experience has largely been limited to the B2B space. However, I think this will hold true in general. It's more logical than its analytical research-based representation. Now, as far as how you can go about choosing the right media mixes, you have to consider various parameters. So as far as cost is concerned, Advertising is definitely the most expensive. You can include probably the promotions in shared media, but advertising is the most expensive media tool available for you. Owned and earned are rather inexpensive. In terms of return, advertising gives you immediate returns, but you also have to remember that if you stop advertising, the results also will come down. Earned medium and others are they don't give you immediate results, but they are for the longer terms to ensure that you build the brand over a long period of time. In terms of control, as I spoke about, because earned medium, there is a gatekeeper, you may not have the complete control on the message that appears. So you might send across some information by press release to a publication. It is not certain that they will publish it as it is. So it is not the best medium if you think you have to communicate as the communication has to appear as you have sent it. So that is not going to happen. As far as engagement community building is concerned, shared medium trumps everybody else. Own medium, while it can offer something, but because I said shared medium is communicators marketplace, it is the best platform for engagement and community building. And that, I must again emphasize, is key for today, for any brand success today. As far as spread is concerned, the budgets kind of drive the spread in advertising concern. So if you have deep pockets, you have a lot of money for advertising, then you can get a lot of spread. However, even for a large organization, it's very difficult to get that spread. So it is limited by the budget. Earned medium can give you the spread, but unlike advertising where you can go repeatedly, you can communicate the same message again and again based on your budget, it is not possible in earned medium. As far as shared medium is concerned, it is limited by the platform itself. So Facebook has a certain number of users, LinkedIn has different set of users, Snapchat has different set of users. So it is limited with platform, and more importantly, how many people do follow you. So not only it's just you are on Facebook, but you have to ensure that you have a lot of followers who can follow you and consume the messages that you send across. In the own medium, as I said, it is more pull. You have to create a lot of pull, and that takes a lot of effort. As far as credibility is concerned, I think public relations trumps earned medium trumps anybody else, because in all others, the entry barriers to communicate is not at all there. If you pay the money, you get there, or you post your messages freely. In earned medium, because somebody is vouching for the message, there is higher credibility. And finally, if you are an advertiser, if you are a marketer, and you have to consider which medium to use for what, in my opinion, paid medium and advertising would largely, if I had money, I would rather spend it on ensuring that I get more revenue, and hence I will advertise for customers. Though having said that, it is also possible that, for example, I worked in the IT industry. Lots of IT companies in the initial days used to do advertising for recruitment. However, that's a different case. However, advertising would largely be, in my opinion, focused on getting customers or getting more revenues. Earned medium is largely for multiple stakeholders. In fact, all the other platforms largely will be focused on multiple stakeholders, because even in shared platform, just because you had presence, it's not necessarily that your customers are going to be following you. There could be largely your family, it could be your employees, sorry. So it may not be as effective in communicating immediately to the customer base. Of course, own medium is largely you're looking at your own customers as well. But however, in my opinion, I think advertising is the best as far as you want immediate results and you want to target customers and bring in revenues. Advertising is the tool to go for. That's largely as far as the PESO model is concerned. Now, there are 4 important factors to keep in mind while you're deciding your media mix. First of all, who's your audience? Whom are you trying to communicate to? Whether it's consumers, whether it's your employees, whether your current employees, or you want to recruit, whether your partners whom you're looking at to build your business. If you are a listed company or even otherwise, you have to communicate to regulatory bodies, investors, and government. So it depends on what message you have for each of these audience. So audience and the message is very key. Also, what kind of business are you in? Are you in a B2B business? Are you in B2C business? For example, if you're in a hotel industry, would you want to be in a mainline publication, or would you want to be in a hospitality publication? If you are a industrial machinery organizations, would you want to be present in a mainline publication or something which is for your industry? So those are the questions a marketer and communicator has to ask. And of course, the most important part is the budget. How much budget do you have? Do you have enough money to spend, and where you should spend? So these are the four important factors that a communicator and a marketer has to bear in mind while deciding the communication plan. In summary, if you ask me, I don't think there is a single right choice. Ideally, integrated marketing communications is the way to go, and shared and own media platforms are the best if it's for frugal communication. You don't have lots of budget. Shared and own medium is the way to look at. As far as that, so as a communicator or a marketer, your success depends on reusing and adapting the message. Suppose there is a particular event that has happened in our organization. As a communicator and marketer, you have to think, how can I use this differently? How can I amplify the message? How can I use the same message in advertising? Can this be advertised? How can I take it to the journalist and create a story for myself? How can that be used to build brand building? How do I use it in shared media? So even in shared media, you have to think, should the post be different in LinkedIn? Should the post be different in Instagram? Should the post be different in Facebook? And of course, how do you present it in your own website? So these are the communications you have to keep asking yourself, and reusing and adapting the message helps you amplify and create the best optimum value from the message that is there. And finally, remember what you are selling, to whom you're selling, and how much you're willing to spend. And I think you will get answers for your communication plan and the media mix. With that, I come to the end of my presentation, but just before we end, I have a question to ask, which I want to ponder with you, along with you. So in this, you see there are two images. One is TOI, which is the Times of India, India's largest media. And on the left-hand side, you have the Instagram page of Virat Kohli. Now, if you can help me decide, here is something that I want you to do. If you think Times of India is a bigger media, type T. If you think Virat Kohli is a bigger media, type V. It'll take about 10-15 seconds, not more than that, but I just want your opinion as to who do you think is a bigger media. Can we do that? Is it possible? Okay. Thanks, Joseph. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Manisha. Thanks, Rahul. Okay. At this point of time, I think Times of India is trumping Virat Kohli. Nobody's batting for Virat Kohli. Nobody likes him. Okay. So if there are no more opinions, okay. Cool. I think, yeah, it's fine. Let's stop there. So honestly, I don't have an answer whether Times of India or Virat Kohli is a bigger medium. However, some things to consider. So if you look at Instagram page and you look at the number of followers Virat Kohli has, it says 60 million. That's 60 million. And if you, I don't know how many of you know the readership of Times of India. So just for yourself, just for understanding, the Times of India has a readership of 16 million. That's 1/6. So if you look at the exact numbers, it would appear that Virat Kohli is far bigger media than Times of India, which is India's largest publication, and it is also one of the top publications in the world. I mean, forget India, it is probably third or fourth largest print media in the world. Now, well, in terms of numbers, I think it would probably mean that, you know, Virat Kohli is probably a bigger media. My question is, something that I've not found out is that even if he's a bigger media, how can marketers ignore Times of India? That's one question. And then if they can ignore it, my question is that most of the brands who use Virat Kohli as their brand ambassador Why can't they just stop with Instagram? Why do they need the other medium, Times of India or any other TV for that matter, or any other channels for that matter? Why do they depend on other publications? So while I don't have an answer, the answer, in my opinion, I think integrated marketing communication is important. I don't think each medium has different feature. So while Virat Kohli cannot probably keep, if he actually, if I don't know how, if you know, he's one of the most expensive influencers. For every post that he makes millions of money. So he may not be able to post again and again for you, whereas advertising or public relations offers you those kind of options. So I don't think this was presented by Mr. Shivakumar, who's with Birla Group, his chief strategy officer. And that point of time, I thought, oh yes, Virat Kohli is a bigger medium. But today, I think if I think back, I don't think it is as straight. It's not as straight as it looks like. So as communicators and marketers, you have to look at all the media possible options. You have to consider the features of it before you can arrive at the right media mix. So that's a message I want to leave with everybody before I close the presentation. If you have any more questions, you can reach out to me. If I have the answers, I can share it. Otherwise, if I don't have the answer, I will thank you for prodding me to think about it, and probably I can discuss it. I can think about it and we can have a chat over it. You can find me on LinkedIn and Twitter as well. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. If I have the answers, I'll definitely give. If I don't have, as Dr. Ajita said, I can get back to you with the answers. Thank you, Ajita.
Thank you, Shri Ganesh, and participants. It was a fabulous presentation. Can we have some questions in the chat box? Participants, if you have any queries, please do post it in the chat box. And you gave a very good insight on your PESO model, and it was awesome.
Thank you.
Really nice. Thank you. Participants, we would like to, okay. We have a question from Rahul Jain. He's asking, like, are brand ambassadors more important than normal advertisement?
Okay. Actually, Rahul, it's a fantastic question. So I'll share what I heard from the marketing head of India Cements. And this was a session held by Priya Paul, who was Infosys and Wipro's marketing manager, and she runs a company called Paul Writers. So she had conducted an event, and she had called many marketers. And this is what, I don't remember the name of the person, but this is what he said. If you know, India Cements is a Chennai-based company. It's headed by N. Srinivasan. And India Cement is also the franchise owner of Chennai Super Kings. So while talking about, he said, the social media doesn't work for me at all. It is a useless tool or media for me. However, because we took Chennai Super Kings and we have Dhoni as a brand ambassador. Okay, before that, they're quite a good brand in the south of India. They have good reach, they have good market share, but in the north of India, nobody knows them. So he said, when they took Chennai Super Kings franchisee and they took Dhoni as their brand ambassador, when they put the image of Dhoni on their cement bags, their market share grew exponentially in the northern market, which was not their strong market at that point of time. I don't know if you're getting the answer, but yes, brand ambassadors, in the initial days, I thought, what roles do brand ambassadors play? But when I heard that answer, it became clear to me that brand ambassadors have an important role to play in normal advertising, because they build in a lot of credibility. They bring in a lot of credibility, and in markets where you don't have presence, if you bring in faces that market identifies with, then I think you're setting up yourself for success. Does it answer your question, Rahul? Great. Okay.
Yes, got it. It seems so. And we have a question from Anantavalli. Like, she's asking, like, what is the way we can take customer good satisfaction, to take customers good satisfaction?
Okay. So think about it this way. I mean, I think today the own medium and shared medium platforms offer you great opportunity for you to hear from the customers. Suppose you're searching for something on Google. Let's say you want to go to a restaurant, and you search, and there are about 15 restaurants near me that come up, and they have a rating between 4.5 to 2.5. Different restaurants have different ratings. So which restaurant will you go to? So, okay, the answer would be that anything that would be 4, 4.5 is probably the kind of places that would go. So everybody is looking for information. I said today, if you are on Google, if you're Googleable and your search results come up, half of your battle is won. And customer satisfaction has become more important today because I said in the previous era, the feedback was not possible. Today, consumers are talking, consumers are very active on the platforms, and they're interacting with each other. So customer good satisfaction is key today, because earlier we depend on word of mouth. Today, the review has become the word of mouth in the current circumstances. So it's very important. Does that answer your question, Anadi? I don't know if that made sense. Okay.
Ma'am, you're in mute, ma'am.
Okay, sorry. I hope she has not answered your question. She has not replied. Once she has told like, okay, sir, thank you. So I hope you have answered her question. And we have Mageshwari who is asking like consumption pattern, how many time it can change?
I'm not really sure. Can you elaborate that question a bit? I'm not sure if I get the question right. If you can give an example what you mean, then I can probably think about it.
Okay, sir. Well, let's see like if she comes out with something elaborative.
Sure.
But like any more questions, participants? I have a question to you, sir. Like you told about crisis management and public relations. Can you tell us the experience of yours where you were able to deal with your crisis management in the public relations?
So thankfully, I've not had too many opportunities to crisis communication, but there were a couple of cases. As far as crisis communication is concerned, from public relations perspective, the most important is that you have to respond. Not responding today is not an option. If a crisis occurs, you have to respond. However, before responding, and I was part of in General Electric, crisis management is taken very seriously. Crisis management is taken very seriously. The involvement of all the stakeholders is very important. So right from management to the operations, to the marketing, to the HR, to everybody. So in crisis communication, a task force is set up, the inputs from different places taken, then it's legally vetted, and you have to communicate, and all has to happen in real time. It has to happen quickly. So I don't know if it's the right answer for you, but basically what I'm trying to say is that in crisis communication, multi-stakeholder involvement is required, and companies have to communicate. I don't know if that answered your question, Dr. Ajita.
Yes, sir, you have answered. It was nice. And can you explain us a little bit about your Wi-Fi and Water Lake?
Okay. Okay, that project is very close to my heart, and so I was working for 2020 Media. It was earlier called 2020 Media, not 2020 MSL. And I was servicing this client called DAX Networks. Today, the company is not there, but it used to be a small networking firm, which was competing with the Huawei's and Cisco's. And I don't know if you are from my age, my generation, the first time internet came to India, the only modem, it used to dial-up modem, used to be from DAX Networks. And then the company got very synonymous with internet modems. However, the company was trying to move from internet modem to more complicated networking equipments like switches and routers, all those things. However, because they were thought of as a internet modem company, they were not able to sell, and they had to break that image. So me and my boss, we created a lot of strategies as to how we can make that shift. And we said the company going forward will communicate only about the newer networking technologies. Cisco, the routers, switches, the VoIPs, all those things. And at that point of time, I was watching Discovery. I distinctly remember I was watching Discovery Channel, and I saw that in Europe, some artists were sitting on top of a cliff, and they were able to draw and share that drawing with others because they had connectivity. And that gave me a thought that maybe we can do something very similar in India. And I came to know that the owners of DAX networks were Kashmiris. So I said, why don't we do something in networking space in Kashmir? Two reasons. One is because Kashmir is a place where all the media houses are always looking at. And even if you drop a pin in Kashmir, it will make international noise. And because my clients immediately liked it, and we said, what do we do? And then I suggested that because Wi-Fi was the emerging technology at that point of time. Today, it's, as I said, today it's not nothing. But in 2003, Wi-Fi was an emerging technology. And I said, why don't we Wi-Fi enable the Dal Lake? So shikaras are very famous. People take the shikara ride in Kashmir. So we can create a story saying that anybody who's going to Kashmir, who's going on shikara, can access to internet, and they can do their browsing and be connected to the world. And that's how the idea came up. I got a great opportunity to implement it. And at that point of time, the Chief Minister of Kashmir, Mufti Muhammad Saeed, he came, inaugurated it. Most importantly, it got enormous amount of coverage for DAX networks, that they are the company who Wi-Fi enabled the Dal Lake. Indian publications covered it. In fact, it got coverage in many international publications, right from Australia to the US. On the business front, what the client told us is that today, when they went back to their customers, they said, hey, aren't you the guys who did the Wi-Fi project in Kashmir? So one example, one small idea, it completely changed their perception as being a modem company to a Wi-Fi company. So now they were able to break that mold. So that was the project. However, for me, it was a great matter of pride, because for the next at least 2 years, when technology publications said we're doing the reports on the technology scenario in India, they said India is Wi-Fi enabled from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. So I think my contribution to that is that I was instrumental in ensuring that Kashmir is Wi-Fi enabled. So yeah, so that's the story.
Thank you so much. It was awesome to hear from you. And we are very proud that you are an alumni of ITM Business School Chennai, who has done this wonderful project for the company.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for being with us. It was our pleasure that you were today with us, accepting our invitation and sharing your concepts on very deep insights on PESO model to solve communication dilemma. Initially you explained your profile very well, and you told your journey of how you have come to this level and how you have explored your entire communication department. It was awesome, and you explained very clearly about the communication model, your company, and how it has been to be a medium and message towards your customers. That was really awesome. The way you explained was good, and your presentation was very neat. It gave us very clear picture on your democratization of media. How does your Web 2.0 and social media is working? And you also told very clearly about the PESO model, the enabler, paid, your earned, and your shared, and your owned. And you gave us a very what can I tell? It is a very shrinked, and it is a picturized model of your table format, where you gave your telling that it's only my opinion and it's not a data study, but your opinion is great, sir. Thank you so much for accepting all our invitations and making your way towards here. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much thank you for giving the opportunity, and thank you for being patient listeners and participating in the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of ITM Business School Chennai, I thank you, sir, and I thank all the attendees who have come to the webinar on PESO model to solve communicators dilemma by Mr. Sri Ganesh Raman, Associate Vice President Marketing, Congruent Solutions. A special thanks to all the organizers for their unflinched support and coordination. I hope today we had a very valuable Q&A session. I thank all the attendees who raised the questions. If anything remained unanswered, we'll reply you, give your mail IDs in your chat window. We hope you enjoyed the session. Kindly give your feedback in the chat window. Good luck to all of you. We truly appreciate your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.